All right, so Nancy is next on the list. Dr. Nancy Howell is an assistant professor at the University of Tennessee College of Veterinary Medicine, in addition to being director of outcomes assessment at the college. Her doctorate is in higher education administration from the University of Tennessee. Additionally, she holds an MPH from UT, a master's degree in higher education from UT, and a bachelor's degree in journalism from Marshall University. She teaches in the college's problem-based learning course, as well as an elective in cultural influences on animal health for the second and third year veterinary students. She oversees the college's assessment programs, including course and instructor evaluations, clinical competency assessment, and survey of students, graduates, and employers. So Nancy, when you're ready, the floor is yours.
Good morning, depending on which time zone you're in. I'm going to talk about curriculum mapping and some of our efforts here at the University of Tennessee. We've had an interest in curriculum mapping for many years, but actually just this past summer have actually taken steps to begin implementing curriculum mapping at the veterinary college here. I'd like to just start with a short definition of what a curriculum map is. The definition that we like to use is that a curriculum map is an assessment method to determine how learning outcomes are taught and assessed. Sorry, let me find my little advance button here. Okay. So it provides a method of aligning and integrating learning outcomes across many courses and helps us, and by us I mean faculty, staff, students, and stakeholders, how to better understand the curriculum that we are teaching or the curriculum that we think we're teaching. So a map may help to answer questions of where we are. My collaborator in this, Dr. Michael Sims, likes to use the here and there analogy. He likes to say that the here is our current curriculum, and after we map that, we know where we are. The there is what we're attempting to get to, or what we think our curriculum is delivering. And sometimes, as you might imagine, there are quite a few gaps between here and there. So one of the values of a curriculum map is that you can determine what you think the assumed curriculum is. And as I mentioned, quite often there's an assumption that you're doing something, but when you look at what's being presented throughout the entire curriculum, you determine that, in fact, many of the areas that you thought were being taught are not actually being taught. So by describing this in more detail, we have some opportunity to use both formative assessments and summative assessments in looking at the broad curriculum, and also in looking at various components of the curriculum. So what are some of the building blocks that we might use to build a curriculum map? As you might expect, there would be such things as course numbers and names, course objectives. And one area that we have focused a lot of attention on is something that we call the purpose of a session. A session can be defined as a lecture, a lab, or any other learning experience. And it's the interaction that the faculty member has with the student, either in the classroom or outside the classroom through an assignment. And along with this, we ideally want the objectives of those sessions. So that's the interaction process that we're trying to nail down as the primary role of our curriculum map. Here's an example of a purpose of session, and you see that it's fairly succinct, and it has words in it that are searchable. This is very important as other people try to determine where are some of these components that they're looking for, where they are taught. So this gives far more information, and instead of relying just on lofty course objectives or what we intend for the lecture or the course to provide students, this is actually what is going on in the classroom. And it's also a handy organizational mechanism for faculty as they think through what is the purpose of the session that I'm about to provide students. So this is just a short summary of some of the benefits of the catalog data that we would use in a curriculum map. Basically, who, what, when, how much, and how are we teaching. And there are benefits, of course, of this. It gives us a complete and accurate picture of the curriculum. It gives us some benchmarking and some opportunity to look at teaching effort and for reporting purposes. It also can help us identify gaps and unintentional redundancy. It can be helpful in maybe identifying areas that might be appropriate for delivering content via online courses or online components of courses. It helps us build a community and educate our faculty of the overall curriculum. And also it helps us facilitate interprofessional curriculum and can also be beneficial in the evaluation process. So once we have data in our system, and we at the University of Tennessee use 145 as our academic management software, we then have the opportunity to actually do the mapping. So this is a point that it's not really a curriculum map until it's mapped. So you see some of the examples of what you can map to. Assessment methods you can use. This would be multiple choice test, performance ratings, peer assessment, team-based, or other methods that you're using to assess students. You can also use, of course, AVMA core competency domains to map your material to by individual course. And you can use other methods such as Bloom's taxonomy or types of classifications of knowledge and skills. You can delineate your map by the types of delivery methods of content, lecture, labs, demonstrations, for example. You can use species as a coding system, and that can be very helpful if you are trying to determine, are you covering species information content at the level that you think you are in your curriculum. And you can develop whatever method you want. Virginia Tech, Karen Enzana has been very helpful with us providing what they're doing. They've developed their own map, which is day one skills map, and they map their information to that so that they can determine whether they're meeting their objectives in accomplishing day one skills for veterinary students. So we've been busy, Dr. Sims and I have been trying to do as much of this as we can for faculty as a starting point, getting information in, copy and paste, determining, finding syllabi, course reports, anything we can to help capture as much detail in the information, and especially the purpose of sessions and what is going on during the actual lecture, lab, or demonstration for students. So we've have a meager start here. We are working on this weekly and attempting to have a better to have all of our courses in, hopefully by spring semester in some level. And at that point, we've then been meeting with the curriculum committee and with faculty in faculty sessions to try to show them how useful this information is, and thus far the response has been very good. As we engage faculty more in that process, they begin wanting to start doing mapping and add more detail to the information because they see through our sample searches that the more detail they have and the more detail their peers have in their content data, the better the system is going to work for them in identifying where are different components taught, when are they taught, who are they taught by, information like that, so it can foster more collaboration. Just a summary of benefits of mapping. Of course, it's a broad overview of the entire program goals. It helps us understand how individual courses build student competencies and kind of helps faculty step outside their own individual course and see how it fits into the bigger picture. It, of course, helps in looking at sequencing of lectures and courses and labs, looking at areas where joint labs may be pursued or opportunities to collaborate across courses to deliver content that is crucial for students. And then it also, of course, gives you a better understanding of what learning methodologies we're using in the curriculum overall. If everyone thinks that, well, I'm delivering all my content with a lecture, but I know they're having a great deal of labs in other areas, it doesn't take very long for all of the content to be largely delivered by traditional lectures. And so you can look at this and see, where is that occurring? Is there a good blend of learning methodologies throughout the curriculum, from semester to semester and from course to course? And also we can look at the broader implications of assessment methodologies to make certain that we're not using one or two predominant methodologies that may not allow all students to really demonstrate what they've learned. And of course, accreditation and program review reports are another benefit. This really is for people probably in the dean's office rather than course coordinators, but it's a very important benefit as well. So we have just started this journey. We hope to have more information as we go on, and we are just interested in what other schools are doing, of course, also, because even though this is something that we've looked at for so long and is very common in medical schools, it's not quite as common in veterinary schools, and it's beginning to get quite a bit of attention now. So with that, I will stop and ask for any questions. I see that we have you envision your students having access to the curriculum map. Absolutely. That's one of the benefits of this, is that students can use this to search where they may have some information that is going to be delivered to them, or where they've had it in the past, or just to try to identify some specific information that they can go back and review. So absolutely, we see the students as an important partner in having this transparency.